October 2nd, 2014, from Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. It was game one of the ALDS between the Kansas City Royals and the Anaheim Angels. And for the Royals, they had Jason Vargas on the mound, and the Angels had Jered Weaver, as these two pitched quite a game. And starting off in the top of the first, Weaver struck out the first batter he saw, Escobar. Aoki then singled and Kane lined out, and Aoki ended up getting picked off first. So that would bring the top of the inning to a close. In the bottom of the first, Vargas set down the Angels in order as he got Calhoun, Trout, and Pujols all to fly out. Then in the top of the second, Weaver walked Hosmer to lead off the inning. But then Butler grounded into a double play, and Gordon flied out to bring the half inning to a close. In the bottom of the second, Vargas would set down the Angels in order as he set down Kendrick, Freese, and Ibar. Then in the top of the third, as the Royals came to bat, the first two batters were struck out as Weaver struck out Perez and Infante. Then Mike Moustakas walked, and then Escobar got a double that brought Moustakas in to score the first run of the game, as it was now 1-0 Royals over the Angels. Aoki would ground out, and the Angels would come to bat in the bottom of the third. Vargas would get Hamilton and Cron out, and then Chris Iannetta came up with 2 outs, and he hit a home run to tie this game up at 1 run apiece. Calhoun would ground out, and that would bring the third to a close. So after 3, it was 1-1. Then in the fourth, Weaver got Kane to strike out, and then he set down Hosmer and Butler on grounders. So now in the bottom of the fourth, Vargas would get the Angels down in order once again as he put down Trout, Pujols, and then he struck out Kendrick. Then the top of the fifth, Gordon led off the inning with a double off of Weaver. And then Salvador Perez flied out and moved Gordon over to third. And then Infante hit a sac fly, and Gordon came in to score the second run of the game for the Royals, as it was now 2-1 Kansas City over LA. So Moustakas would ground out, and that would bring up the Angels for the bottom of the fifth. And David Freese led off the bottom of the fifth with a home run as he took Vargas deep and tied this game up at 2 runs apiece. The next 3 batters went down in order as Ibar, Hamilton, and Cron were not able to reach base. And so after 5, it was 2-2, as it was a tie game between the Royals and the Angels. So the Royals came up to bat at the top of the 6th. They went down in order as Escobar and Aoki both struck out, and then Kane flied out. As Weaver was pitching quite the game. Vargas was as well. As in the bottom of the 6th, he struck out Iannetta. Then Calhoun singled, Trout would end up flying out, and then Pujols walked. So with 2 men on, he got Kendrick to fly out to get out of the inning unscathed. So now on the top of the 7th, Weaver would set down the Royals in order as he set down Hosmer, Butler, and then Gordon. Down the bottom of the 7th, we saw some pitching changes as Herrera came in to relieve Vargas, and he walked Freese, and then Beckham came in to pinch run. Then Finnegan came in for Herrera. Ibar ended up sacrificing Beckham over to second. Then Hamilton grounded out. Beckham was on third base, so now Wade Davis came in relief of Finnegan, and he got Cron to fly out. So the 7th came to a close, and it was still a tie ball game at 2 runs apiece. Then in the top of the 8th, Joe Smith would come in to pitch, and then Beckham was now at third base. Smith had relieved Weaver. Smith then struck out Perez, and then he got Infante to fly out as well as Moustakas as he set down the Royals in order in the top of the 8th. Now on the bottom of the 8th, Wade Davis continued to pitch for the Royals. He walked Iannetta, but then he got Calhoun out, and then Iannetta ended up moving over to second on a wild pitch though, and then Trout would be walked. And then he got Pujols to pop out. So now, with 2 on, 2 outs, Kendrick came up to bat, with the game tied at 2 apiece in the bottom of the 8th, and Wade Davis struck out Howie Kendrick and got out of the inning. So that would bring us to the 9th inning with the game still tied at 2 apiece, and Houston Street would come in to pitch for the Angels for Smith. And he struck out Escobar, got Aoki to fly out, and then got Kane out on a grounder. So he set down the Royals in order in the top of the ninth. So now in the bottom of the ninth, Collins came in to pitch for the Royals in relief of Wade Davis, and he hit Gordon Beckham. So Beckham took first, and then Ibar sacrificed Beckham over to second for the second time in this game. Hamilton then struck out, and now Frazier came in to relieve Collins. He walked Cron, and then Iannetta would end up lining out to bring this game in the regular innings to a close as we now went to extra innings. So now in the top of the 10th, Kevin Jepson came in to pitch for the Angels in relief of Street, and he struck out Hosmer, but then he walked Butler. Now Gord came in to pinch run, and he stole second, and then Gordon was intentionally walked. Perez then came to bat, and he ended up lining out, and Infante would get out as well, as the Royals would fail to get anything going there in the 10th and produce any runs. So they left the runner stranded in scoring position, and the other runner as well. So now in the bottom of the 10th, Danny Duffy came in to pitch for Frazier for the Royals, and he let up a single to Calhoun. Then Trout grounded into a fielder's choice, so Calhoun was on second. Pujols ended up getting out, and now Howie Kendrick came up with a man in scoring position as Calhoun was on second, and Kendrick struck out for the second consecutive bat as he had struck out earlier. As Davis had struck him out, and now Duffy struck him out. So the bottom of the 10th was over, and we are now going to the 11th inning. And Fernando Salas came in to pitch for the Angels in relief of Jepson. And the first batter he faced, Mike Moustakas, took him deep as he hit the home run to put the Royals up 3-2. So the Royals took the lead off the Mike Moustakas home run. The next three batters would go down in order, and we were going to the bottom of the 11th as the Royals were 3 outs away from victory, and the Angels had 3 outs left, or they would go down 0-1 at home in this series. Greg Holland came in to pitch for the Royals, and earlier in the day he actually became a father. I don't know if it was for the first time, but he had, I believe, a baby boy born earlier in the day. At least that was according to the announcers in the broadcast. The first batter that Greg Holland would face in the bottom of the 11th was Gordon Beckham, and he struck him out swinging. Then he faced Ibar, and he struck him out swinging. And that brought up Josh Hamilton with 2 outs, and he got him to pop up as Moustakas, the guy who hit the home run in the top of the 11th, he caught the final out, and the Kansas City Royals win this game in extra innings, 3-2 over the Angels. So after having won that wild card game in 12, they now beat the Angels in Game 1 of the ALDS in 11 games. And in this game for the Royals, they didn't get a lot of production offensively, but the 3 RBIs with the 3 different batters is Escobar was 1 for 5 and had the 1 RBI, even though he struck out 3 times, but he came through when they needed him the most. Omar Infante was 0 for 3, but he got the RBI. And then Mike Moustakas with that home run in extra innings, the game winner. He was 1 for 3. He actually scored 2 runs. He had a base on balls. But that big home run, as he came through with the game winner. Of course, it was Greg Holland who picked up the save. Duffy got the win. Really good pitching by the Royals and by the Angels as well. It's a pretty low scoring game. Vargas pitched 6 innings, let up 3 hits, 2 earned runs, walked 1 batter, struck out 2. He let up those 2 home runs. Weaver pitched 7 innings, let up 3 hits, 2 earned runs, and had 2 base on balls. He also struck out 6 batters. And Smith and Street and Jepson all came in and pitched 1 inning, and neither of them let up any earned runs, and they each had 1 strikeout. It was Salas who ended up coming in and letting up that home run to Moustakas. For the Royals, Herrera, Finnegan, Davis, Collins, Frazier, Duffy, and Holland all came in, and none of them let up any runs in their efforts in this game. So really excellent pitching by the bullpen of Kansas City as they pull this one out, as they get the victory in Anaheim in Game 1 of the ALDS. The final score, 3-2, Royals over the Angels in 11 innings.